Listen to me, if everything in your life feels heavy right now, don't rush to call it failure. Hard seasons aren't a punishment, they're preparation. You grow through what stretches you. You rise through what challenges you. And sometimes the very things you're trying to avoid are the things shaping the future you've been praying for. Family, hear me today. We live in a world that tells you the easy road is the right road, but anyone who has ever climbed out of their own darkness knows that real growth doesn't come from comfort. Real strength doesn't come from smooth paths. Real clarity doesn't come from quiet seasons. It's supposed to be hard because the hard places sharpen you. They make you focused. They make you alert. They push you to discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed. You don't become wiser through ease. You don't become stronger through shortcuts. You step into your future through pressure, through stretching, through resistance. So if you're in a tough place today, don't bow your head in defeat. Lift it, because the struggle is not proof that you're unworthy. It's proof that you're being shaped for something greater. When life pushes you into hard seasons, it's easy to think something went wrong. But those moments are often the very places where your character is being built piece by piece. You don't notice it while you're in the middle of the storm. You just feel the weight, the confusion, the pressure. Yet that same pressure is shaping the way you think, the way you respond, the way you handle responsibility. Hard seasons have a way of stripping away what's shallow and strengthening what's real. They make you face your habits, your choices, your excuses, and the patterns that keep holding you back. You start to see what truly matters. You begin to recognize what needs to stay in your life and what needs to go. You learn discipline, not because someone lectures you, but because life gives you no other option. You learn patience because rushing no longer works. You learn focus because distractions lose their appeal when you're fighting to stand steady. Every challenge becomes a mirror. It shows you your strengths, but it also reveals the areas you've ignored. And if you pay attention, those moments can turn into the most powerful turning points of your life. There's something honest about struggle. It strips away noise and forces you to confront the deeper parts of yourself. You discover a level of resilience that didn't show up when everything was smooth. You find clarity you couldn't reach in easy seasons because there was no reason to look deeper. Hard seasons pull out qualities that comfort never demanded. They sharpen your instincts. They teach you how to trust your judgment. They grow your emotional endurance, your capacity, and your confidence. And when you come out on the other side, you're not the same person. You respond differently. You speak differently. You handle pressure differently. What once intimidated you no longer has the same power. You carry a strength that can't be borrowed and can't be taught through theory. It's earned in real time. You begin to understand yourself at a deeper level, and that understanding becomes one of the greatest tools you'll ever have. Hard seasons become the training ground where your maturity is developed, where your foundation becomes stronger, and where you're quietly prepared for opportunities you couldn't have carried before. Growth never happens without something pushing against you. Think about every area of life where strength is built. There's always some form of resistance involved. The same thing happens inside you when life applies pressure, when situations feel heavy, when obstacles stand in your way. That resistance is doing more for you than ease ever could. You don't become stronger by avoiding challenges. You grow when you face what tries to hold you back and choose to keep moving anyway. Resistance forces you to dig deeper. It makes you go beyond your first layer of effort, beyond the part of you that wants to quit, beyond the excuses that used to work. It pushes you to find another level of focus. It demands that you become intentional with your thoughts instead of letting them run wild. When things get tough, you stop working from emotion and start working from commitment. You start showing up even when you don't feel motivated. That shift alone changes everything because real strength is built in the moments where you keep going without the comfort of easy conditions. You learn how to stay steady. You learn how to adjust. You learn how to think through problems instead of running from them. Resistance teaches you resourcefulness. You begin to recognize that you don't need perfect conditions to grow. You just need to lean into the pressure instead of backing away from it. Every time you push through something difficult, you expand your capacity. What used to overwhelm you becomes manageable. What used to scare you becomes something you can face with confidence. You develop a kind of internal stability that doesn't shake every time circumstances shift. The presence of resistance often means you're stepping into new territory. It means you're stretching into a version of yourself that can carry more, handle more, and do more. Without pressure, that strength stays hidden. With pressure, it rises to the surface. And even though it doesn't feel good in the moment, it's working in your favor. Challenges start building muscles in your mind and habits in your life that will support you long after the moment passes. Over time, you start to see resistance differently. Instead of viewing it as a sign to pull back, you begin to recognize it as a sign that you're growing. You're stepping into a wider space. You're becoming someone who can handle the weight of your goals. And every bit of pressure you face is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of yourself. When life gets uncomfortable, it's usually a signal that something inside you is shifting. Discomfort shows up when you're outgrowing old patterns, old rhythms, and old environments. It's the feeling you get when your spirit is moving ahead, but your surroundings haven't caught up yet. You start noticing that what used to satisfy you doesn't feel the same anymore. What used to be enough isn't enough now. That tension is often the first sign that transformation is underway. Discomfort pulls you into awareness. It makes you pay attention to things you ignored when life felt predictable. You start seeing your habits with fresh eyes. You notice the thoughts you've been entertaining, the relationships you've been maintaining, the routines you've been repeating. When life gets too comfortable, you can drift without realizing it. But when discomfort steps and drifting stops, you wake up, you start asking questions. You start listening to what your heart is trying to tell you. There's a point in every transformation where you feel caught in the middle. You're not who you used to be, but you're not fully who you're becoming. That space is uncomfortable. It stretches you mentally and emotionally. It makes you rethink your decisions. It challenges your confidence. But it's in that middle space where the most meaningful changes take place. Discomfort forces you to grow into the identity you've been avoiding. It pushes you to choose discipline over ease, clarity over confusion, and growth over familiarity. Sometimes the discomfort shows up as frustration. Sometimes it shows up as restlessness. Sometimes it shows up as the quiet sense that you can't keep living the way you've been living. You may not see the full picture yet, but something inside you knows that staying the same is no longer an option. That inner pull is the beginning of transformation. It's your growth speaking before the results appear. As you walk through discomfort, you begin to develop a new strength. You learn how to adapt instead of panic. You learn how to trust your progress even when you can't see the final outcome. You learn how to carry yourself with confidence in uncertain spaces. And little by little, the discomfort that once felt overwhelming becomes a sign of movement. It becomes evidence that you're stepping into a new chapter, a wider capacity, and a deeper understanding of who you are. Discomfort is rarely pleasant, but it's often the clearest proof that you're evolving into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what's ahead. When you're in a season that feels slow, heavy, or uncertain, it's easy to assume something is wrong. But what feels like a delay is often a quiet form of preparation. Life has a way of building you behind the scenes long before the results show up. You may not feel the progress, but something in you is being shaped, strengthened, and refined. Preparation rarely looks exciting. It looks like long days, repeated effort, unseen discipline, and moments where you question if any of it matters. Yet those are the exact moments that prepare you for opportunities you couldn't carry earlier. There are times when everything in you wants to move faster, but life keeps you still. That stillness teaches you patience. It teaches you how to manage your emotions rather than let your emotions manage you. It trains your focus and helps you build the type of consistency that lasts. When things feel slow, you start to learn the value of small steps. You start to understand that growth doesn't always come in sudden leaps. Sometimes it comes in quiet repetition, in steady choices, and in showing up even when it feels like nothing is changing. Hard seasons often feel like pressure because they're stretching your capacity. You may feel like the weight is too much, but that weight is strengthening you. It's helping you develop endurance. It's helping you build resilience. It's teaching you how to carry responsibility without breaking under it. Preparation can feel tiring because it's building muscles in your character that you'll rely on later. The very things that feel frustrating today might become the skills that support your future. There are lessons you can only learn when things feel difficult. You learn how to trust your judgment. You learn how to adapt. You learn how to handle challenges without losing yourself. You learn how to stay committed even when motivation fades. That kind of growth doesn't happen in smooth seasons. It happens in the uncomfortable ones, the ones where you're forced to slow down and pay attention. And when the moment finally comes, you'll realize why the preparation took so long. You'll see that the strength you carry now wasn't built overnight. It was built in the waiting, in the pressure, in the days you wanted to give up but didn't. What felt like struggle was actually setting you up. What felt like delay was preparing you to step into a better, wiser, and more capable version of yourself. Pressure has a way of revealing the truth about the people. When everything is calm, it's easy for anyone to stand beside you. It's easy to smile, agree, celebrate, and speak well. But when life gets difficult, when you're carrying weight, when your emotions are stretched and your path becomes uncertain, that's when real intentions start to show. Hard moments expose who's invested in you and who's only interested in convenience. You begin to notice who checks on you without being asked, who listens without judgment, and who stays present even when your life doesn't look attractive. Struggle removes the masks people wear. It shows you who respects your journey and who only wanted the benefits of being connected to you. The people who truly care don't disappear when the season changes. They don't back away when you're not at your best. They don't shift their tone because you're going through something uncomfortable. Instead, they become steady. They offer support without making you feel small. They remind you of your strength without taking advantage of your vulnerability. You start to see the difference between people who care about your progress and those who only wanted your presence. When things get heavy, you also gain clarity about your relationships. You learn that loyalty isn't loud, it's consistent. It shows up in simple moments, small gestures, and quiet encouragement. You realize that the people who walk with you during tough times are the ones who deserve a place in your next chapter. They don't drain you. They don't compete with you. They don't make your struggle about them. They lift you, guide you, and help you stay grounded when life feels chaotic. Hard seasons also help you identify the relationships that can't go with you. Some people fade when discomfort shows up. Some distance themselves when you need support. Some only stay as long as your life looks smooth. That can be painful, but it's also freeing. It allows you to redefine your circle. It helps you build stronger boundaries. It teaches you to value quality over quantity. By the time you come out of a difficult season, you're more aware. You're more intentional about who you allow close. You've learned to appreciate the people who stayed when it wasn't easy. You've learned to release the ones who couldn't handle the weight of your journey. And without realizing it, the pressure that felt overwhelming has helped you build a healthier, stronger, and more trustworthy foundation for the future. When everything around you feels tough, it's easy to lose your footing. It's easy to wonder if you're moving forward at all. But staying grounded during those heavy moments becomes one of the strongest moves you can make. When life applies pressure, your mind will try to rush, panic, or jump ahead. Your emotions may pull you in different directions. Doubt might whisper louder than your confidence. But grounding yourself gives you stability. It keeps you from reacting out of fear and helps you respond with clarity. You start making decisions from a calm place instead of a chaotic one. Staying grounded doesn't mean you feel strong every day. It means you keep showing up even when your feelings are scattered. You begin to build habits that hold you steady. You give yourself space to think, breathe, and realign. You stop assuming every challenge is a sign that you're failing. Instead, you learn to interpret pressure as part of the process. That shift in mindset keeps you from abandoning your path too early. It gives you the patience to see things through. Grounded people learn to move at a steady pace. They don't sprint out of desperation or slow down out of fear. They commit to the work in front of them and trust that consistency will eventually create progress. Even when motivation fades, they lean on discipline. Even when results seem delayed, they stay focused on the long-term picture instead of getting lost in the moment. This kind of steadiness builds resilience. It makes you stronger without draining you. It helps you stay centered no matter how unpredictable life becomes. Pressure also teaches you how to protect your energy. When you stay grounded, you're less likely to be pulled into drama, comparison, or emotional noise. You start choosing your battles wisely. You start keeping your attention on what matters. You learn how to quiet the distractions that once overwhelmed you. That focus becomes a tool that carries you through difficult seasons. Over time, you'll notice that staying grounded helps you rise. You handle challenges with more confidence. You navigate stress with greater calm. You bounce back quicker after setbacks. You become someone who doesn't crumble at the first sign of trouble because you've learned how to center yourself, breathe through the moment, and move with intention. The pressure that once threatened to break you becomes the very thing that strengthens your roots. And as your roots deepen, your capacity to grow expands right along with them.